Welcome back to the Mountain Morning Show, one of my favorite segments. And I mean this because at the end of the day, it means money. A little bit. Bill Humbert, Recruiter Guy, how are you?
Great, thank you.
From the Recruiter Guy's Guide to Finding a Job, Bill Humbert. And no, at the end of the day, that's what it means, money.
It does.
Right? And this is something that we sort of talk about this time of year because people start thinking, hey, I want to be a little more upwardly mobile. Time to move up in the world, right? And so you got people out there thinking about doing that, but we got other people who are unemployed. And the number of people that are unemployed is really different depending on who you want to listen to. In fact, almost everybody will try to tell you, hey, it's down to almost 7%. Life is good.
Yeah.
Not so.
No, it's really unfortunate, Joe, because I think if the right number were publicized, it would change public policy.
Yeah, it would.
And, the Bureau of Labor Statistics is responsible for tracking people who are out of work. They're responsible for tracking those of us who are working. And back in the 1970s, Congress decided that the people who were unemployed would be measured by those on unemployment insurance. And so when you Google Bureau of Labor Statistics table U3 versus U6, U3 is the table that, and it's up on the screen right now. Mm-hmm. U3 is the one up near the top, and it shows at the end of December, unemployment was 6.7%. And the problem with that is that the 6.7% only reflects people who are on unemployment.
Right.
And so if the government wanted to drop unemployment to zero, all they had to do was cut unemployment benefits.
Right.
And it's gone.
Suddenly we have no unemployment.
There's no unemployment because of the way they measure it. But if you go back up to that chart and you look at U6, which is the bottom, you'll see that at the end of December,
three digits or two
it was 13.1%. Yes. And so to me, there's twice as many people unemployed as what is being reported.
Right.
And so what the media does sometimes, and your media too, but this is breaking news really. For
yeah,
media.
Right. we're on top of it. We're fair and balanced here for real.
You're ahead of everybody else.
That's the truth.
There's 25 million Americans currently out of work or underemployed.
Yeah.
And that's what U6 shows is either unemployed receiving benefits or underemployed.
See, there's a lot of proud people out there who are not even willing to even consider taking benefits that were never included in any of these numbers, and they're misrepresented. There's people who were on the program who have been kicked off. They've been on it for over a year. They've been on it past the extension. They're off of it, but they don't get counted. There's people who have only ever been part-time employees that have always been looking for something else. Like when we worked at the airlines, that was always a tough one. You were always part-time, could never get full-time. Mm-hmm. That's not included. So there are a lot, the numbers are way skewed, and it's unfortunate because, as you said, I think it would demand a different course of action in our government if people were fully aware all the time of this situation.
Exactly. And congressmen, I'm not blaming congressmen because they have staff, and there's, thousands of things that come across their desk every day. There's no way for them to keep up with all of this. But, just people starting to talk about it would help.
Yeah, absolutely. And we know, though, that most of them know these numbers. So there's certainly a reason to, if you're one of those people, to consider calling and saying, hey, remember me? I'm one of those guys you're saying is employed. I'm still not, or girls, as the case could be. It's certainly worth making sure that people are aware of the situation.
That's right. And so if you are unemployed or if you're underemployed, right now is the best time to start understanding you have a lot of competition out there.
Right.
Just to begin with that group of 25 million. And then there's another 30 million people who are not happy where they are.
Yeah, we kind of mentioned this. People are looking to move around. This time of year is especially when they start thinking about that. Your competition is pretty impressive right now.
So you're talking 55 million, and then that's not even including the 10 million or so that maybe I can go out and recruit.
Right.
They think they're happy, and my job is to make them understand they really aren't, and they need to come over to work for my client.
and of course, when we get to the end here, we'll talk about a couple places you might want to think about going that could be happier. Which sounds like there's a pretty fun one there. But what this really means is that you need to be a very well prepared potential employee. We've talked about employers quite a little bit. It is important that we discuss the employee and what they need to do to prepare themselves for that kind of competition. It is time for the Olympics. It is time to bring your game to the next level.
Exactly.
And get ready to compete.
Get it up there and just be the winner. Get that gold medal.
So let's talk about what they can do.
Well, let's talk about 4 tips.
Okay.
So we give them 4 tips that gets them started.
All right.
The first one is, if you're unemployed or if you're underemployed, Joe, now is the best time to find a job that makes you happy. And there are 2 things I feel that have to be there to make you happy. 1, can I make a positive, measurable impact?
Yep.
And 2, can I have fun?
Those are important things that we sometimes put aside for other things that we think are more important.
That's right. And so now's the time maybe to take a lower level job within a company. It's still underemployed, but in the industry that you want to be in. And then grow through, an Undercover Boss, that television show that's on, where the bosses, the CEOs go around and they work in the lower level positions, understanding better about their company. Well, that's the value that kind of position can give an individual.
Yeah.
So
don't be afraid to do that if it's going to make you happier.
That's right. So if you can make an impact and have fun, that's far better than A, not getting paid, or B, going out there and hating your job.
A big part of getting a job as an employee, a potential employee, is selling yourself. And we all know that sales comes from branding.
That's correct.
That's number 2.
And number 2 is branding. And so brand yourself as an employee, or, think of yourself as a business. For instance, I'm RecruiterGuy. And so that's how I brand myself.
I'm Host Guy.
You're Host Guy.
That's me.
So we got RecruiterGuy and Host Guy. But take 6 words that would describe you. Could be honest, hardworking, great work ethic, loyal, creative.
Brave.
Yeah, right. It sounds like the Boy Scout.
Stuff, yeah.
That's right. Well, all of those were good. And there was a reason why they had them.
That's right.
And so it's important to brand yourself. Think of 6 words that really describe you as a worker.
Okay. And that's kind of your elevator pitch a little bit, isn't it? Knowing
It becomes that.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's the framework for it, for your elevator pitch.
Yep, exactly.
Very cool. We've talked about that before. All right, let's talk about number 3. Letting former coworkers know that you're looking.
Okay, so don't tell anybody, but this is called networking. That's one of those scary things people don't like to do.
Right. Because
they don't understand. Well, if you've decided to make a move into another industry, your coworkers don't know that. All they know is that you're either underemployed or unemployed. But you've got skills that are transferable over to this new industry.
Okay.
And so now's the opportunity to get back to them and say to them, hey, I'm going after a job in this industry. Who should I talk to? Everybody, it's amazing how many people everybody knows. I mean, I met 2 people this weekend, yesterday, both from Maryland. I said, hey, I went to DeMatha High School. And my son's going to Gonzaga.
They all know.
So it's amazing how many connections we have that we don't even consider connections.
Right.
And so those people are going to help you find a job.
And sometimes it's the smallest one that makes the big difference. They know you just enough to know that you're a good guy, somebody you can represent, or a good girl that you can stand up for, and that's what it takes.
That's what it takes, and it just takes that one introduction.
Which takes us to number 4, one that you've really been working on with me, and that's LinkedIn. Because we shouldn't be surprised that this is a very good place to make some of those same connections.
It is, Joe. LinkedIn has become a great tool, not only for recruiters like me, but also for people who are looking to make a job change. And it could be people who are out of work or people who are currently working. And that is to find an industry that you're really interested in, going back to number 1, and then find people who work in that industry, and then make contact with them, and then ask them who you should talk to next.
Very cool. There's your 4 things that you need to do as an employee to get out there and find that next great thing. And again, as we've mentioned, the biggest one probably is finding one that you're going to enjoy.
That's right. And one last thing. In sales, action begets action.
Right.
So when you're making things happen, things happen.
Now, you mentioned lastly that there is one fun job coming up that you're recruiting right now So we should ask you about that. It's
Yep.
pretty cool. It's in that new industry of renewable energy.
That's correct. I'm working with Acciona Wind Power in West Branch, Iowa, and I'm looking for an O&M manager. And this is a person who actually runs the wind farms. And so they're going to be involved right after the wind towers are commissioned. And then they're going to be involved with the operations and maintenance, and they have 10, 15-year contracts. So this could be a long-term job.
Could be a great job.
It's a great job. The pay is really good. Great company. It's the headquarters is in Spain, but it's a great. If you look up Acciona, it's a great company.
All right, recruiter guy Bill Humbert. As always, such good stuff. Looking forward to that next great job, and you heard it here how to do it. All right, we'll be back with more right here on the Mountain Morning Show. Chelsea's up next after these messages.